Hello, and welcome to the workshop. In this episode, we'll be breathing life into Linghu Art Studios' 1/18th scale Daspletosaurus Torosus. So sit back, relax, and let's paint. I like starting off with a wash, and this just consists of watering down paint and applying it to the surface of your kit. Following which, I will wipe off the excess. This just cleans things up a little bit. This is a great technique for accentuating scales and skin folds. And I pretty much just repeat this process for the entirety of the kit. It's time consuming, but I do think attention to detail like this is what really makes a difference at the end of the day. I love seeing how everything comes together. And now on to painting the inside of the mouth. This will be somewhat covered once we assemble all the pieces, so you're better off doing it now. Here I am using a pre-mixed paint by Art Colors. This is from the creature paint kit created by Steve Riojas. It's a great set of airbrush paints. And it's kind of just like flossing. You need to get inside all nooks and crannies. Don't forget the upper part of the jaw as well. And when you're painting, always keep the airbrush moving. This just allows for a more homogeneous application of paint. And here, as we've seen before, this is the wash technique. Next step is going to be applying the base coat. And here I am just mixing my own colors. I usually like starting off with some type of white, in this case titanium white, and I mix that with raw sienna. I find the raw sienna brings in a bit of that warmth that makes your creature look alive. And mix, mix, mix. And mix, mix, mix. This is isopropyl alcohol that I like to add to my colors. This just hastens the drying process once the paint actually hits your resin kit. I'm just trying out the color on a scrap piece of cardboard, and it looks pretty good. And we're just applying this everywhere. I use an almond white primer, but following washes it tends to look a little muddy. So this base coat serves to clean that up a little bit. It's subtle, but it does make a difference. Usual, always keep the airbrush moving. And here I'm mixing a second color that leans a lot more into the raw sienna. And this is going to serve to build countershade. And that's when the upper part of your creature is darker and the underside is lighter. This is pretty natural in color patterns in animals, given that the sun is obviously from above, so skin pigmentation tends to be darker on the upper part of an animal. And full disclosure, my work here will be heavily inspired by Jacksaurus, and more specifically one of his paint ups. I'll let you guys go ahead and browse through his Instagram page and decide for yourselves which one that is. Now I'm starting to add more intricate patterns to create some visual interest. And here I'm adding brighter avian patterns. In this case I'm going with a shade of teal. As I continued, I started noticing that the yellow and blue weren't mixing as nicely as I thought it would. So I decided to redo the countershade and went with orange this time. Cyan and orange are a classic combo. It's rather appealing to the eye, in my opinion. Yeah, that's more like it. And since I use transparent paints, the different layers of colors often create new colors when they overlap. Here I'm breaking up the cyan and orange with black. Again, this is a relatively common color combo that you see in nature. I'm picking out a few scales and darkening them with shades of brown and gray. Then I add a more complex white pattern, and this time I'm doing this by hand. Just allows for more intricate and more fine details. And now I'm adding various stripes and patterns just to break up the base coat. things are slowly coming together. And now for the base, I painted it with shades of brown and red. And here I'm applying a wash. This is after adding Woodland Scenic's ballast, as well as green turf. And I threw in a dried branch to simulate a fallen tree. And here I'm just dry brushing different areas to highlight rocky terrain. And I'm blending everything together using my airbrush. And the last few steps here are to add the blood effects. So I'm taking some red and mixing it with black. And what I've found works well as a medium to simulate blood is epoxy glue. And just take a little bit of the paint that I mixed and add it to the glue, and you get this viscous type of bloody material. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want more content, follow the link below to my Instagram before time.